Hello, thanks for joining Nation's Restaurant News at the ICR XChange. I'm Sarah Lockyer, Executive Online Editor of Nation's Restaurant News. We've been here in Miami, Florida for the past 3 days covering the ICR XChange. It's one of the largest and the first of the year restaurant and retail investment conference. Today, I have with us Krispy Kreme Donuts. We have CEO Jim Morgan and President Ken May. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Krispy Kreme has had a very storied history, both good and bad, right? We've had boom, we've had bust, we've had some corporate misdeeds in the past, but that's all behind now. And you mentioned yesterday in your presentation that you see yourself as the steward of a great brand. Talk to us a little bit about what that means and how it colors your leadership.
Happy to do that, Sarah. We'll learn, and I learned more and more since I've come, that brand carries worldwide, and that it is one of the few brands that every time you mention it, people smile. If I wear my Krispy Kreme logo apparel, I get stopped every 5 feet, and there's never a negative story. It's always someone wanting to tell them about an incredible story. And so all of us at Krispy Kreme realize that 75-year history we've got, that we are custodians and guardians of something that we've got to treasure, and we've got to be careful and wise with our decision making, and we've got to think about what our legacy will be, not just what our performance will be today.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Ken, you've been here, I think, 30 days you just said. So what does the brand mean to you?
Well, Sarah, it's an unbelievable brand. I did a lot of research when I was thinking about it. A long-time Krispy Kreme customer, did a lot of research, but it's hard to believe once you get here how really iconic it is. And so the ability to work for such a great company, I'm just incredibly blessed. But beyond that, just having a product that's already out there and growing and customers just love. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the future of Krispy Kreme.
You also spoke yesterday about growth, which was a word we've heard for the first time at Krispy Kreme for a few years now. Growth obviously stopped a few years ago and then been relatively flat, domestically speaking. Obviously, you've been growing internationally. But you gave some pretty strong projections. So talk to us a little bit about what your growth plans are, short-term and long-term.
Be happy to, Sarah. And by the way, it's fun to be talking growth again. We spent most of the last few years just restructuring and building a foundation from which we can grow. And I think domestically, we currently have about 240 stores, and I think I implied that I would personally be disappointed if over the next 5 years that number isn't closer to 400 to 500. Internationally, we had already mentioned we've got about 450 stores, and we think by fiscal year 17, that should be closer to 900. So we've got a lot to look forward to. And even then, I might point out, we will have only scratched the surface of the potential number of stores we could have worldwide.
Unit level economics is obviously a big part of growth, right? You can't really grow until your box is strong. You pointed out, I think, 4 points that is really going to help drive unit level economics. And I'm assuming Ken is on board to kind of make those things happen. So maybe you both want to talk to us about how you want to improve the store economics.
I think the easiest way to answer that question, I'll see what Ken wants to add in based on what he's seen, but we've got to approach it from 2 directions. We have to approach it from the cost side, and we have great opportunities there. We still don't have our labor management as careful as we should have it. We've got material cost, food cost that we can work on, I think, significantly. And then the revenue side. We're getting all of our revenue basically off of donuts. Our entire beverage is only bringing us 12%. Coffee's only 4%. So we have got just great opportunities there. We just launched a new coffee program with a new blend of coffees in Labor Day of this past year. So we're excited about that. So it'll be a two-way approach from the cost side and from the revenue side. And Ken, you may have something.
Yeah, I think you'll see us focusing on reducing the cost of the box, so you'll be seeing us trying to shrink it. Also, you'll see us trying to support our franchisees on site selection and trying to find the perfect trade areas for Krispy Kreme. So we'll be doing a lot of data analysis over the next few months, trying to find the right spot for us to grow into.
Thank you. Just sticking with coffee, actually, for 1 minute, what trends do you see in the consumer supporting this kind of growth and this kind of improvement at Krispy Kreme? There's been a lot of activity around beverages and snack. What are you seeing?
I think in our case, it's not just the trend, it's the fact that our data tells us that maybe 1 in 10 of our guests are ordering a beverage with their order. And so the opportunity with the guests we've already got coming in is enormous, not to mention we think the coffee is good enough to draw some new people in, which would give us incremental donut sales as well. So for us, it's a matter of we're woefully short of where we should be. So, and that's true a lot in our life, Sarah. There are a lot of things we're not doing nearly as well as we could and should, and we don't get discouraged by those. We see those as the opportunities.
Let's move a little bit to international units. It's a big part of the Krispy Kreme operation. that has struggled of lately, mainly just on same-store sales. Pressure, I think, is what you expect in 2012. When do you see international stores becoming stabilized, I guess, in terms of their sales trends?
That's probably a more difficult question to answer.
You don't have a crystal ball?
The reason for the same-store sales is twofold. One, most of those stores open at incredible levels. I mean, I'm talking about we've had them open at $200,000 and $300,000 a week selling donuts. And secondly, the honeymoon period lasts longer for some reason internationally in some of those stores. About the time the honeymoon period's dying down, they're opening their second, third, fourth into the store, so there's some cannibalization, which you expect from that. So as long as we keep opening a high number of stores, it's going to be difficult to get the same store sales looking as positive. Big comment, though, and that is the average unit volumes in most of those, some of the ones that are declining the most, are still substantial. So they haven't dropped the average unit volume down to a level that's worrisome.
That's a good point. Thank you. So it's growth pains, right? Well, obviously Krispy Kreme is back on track, it seems, right? Well, at least, according to what you guys are saying. So that's fantastic. I really want to thank you for your time. Thanks so much. And I'm Sarah Lockyer, Executive Online Editor with Nation's Restaurant News, just wrapping up with Krispy Kreme Donuts at the ICR XChange.